Inevitably, when I meet people out and about at concerts and so forth, and I'm sure it's the same for you, they all want to know, how we got started in the business. And when we start the site here, when somebody comes to sign up on the site, we ask them to identify themselves. Are they a musician? Are they somebody that's just generally interested in the music business? Or are they interested in being in the music business? I like to call them industry hopeful. So are you a musician or an industry hopeful?
I was sort of neither, really. I grew up in upstate New York in the middle of nowhere, so I didn't know what the music industry was. And I played a little bit of piano and played in little punk rock bands in high school, but that was really about the extent of it. Didn't really know what I wanted to do. Went away to college, thought I was going to play golf, and realized that wasn't going to really work out. So became the concert chairman at my college, at my university.
Where'd you go to university?
Florida Atlantic University.
Okay.
And state school, we had an amazing budget. We had a 2,500 seat theater and a 600 seat club that I booked. And I really could book whatever I wanted, so I did. And that's how I sort of got into it and, started meeting, on the phone, all the agents in New York and LA, and became friendly with a lot of them. And, went to my, counselor meeting one day, and I said, wow, I think this is actually a job. So I think I'm going to go do that. And the guy looked at me like I was crazy. And so I did. I moved to New York after I graduated, and I became very friendly with a guy named Frank Riley, who at the time had a company called Venture Bookings. Actually, was just starting Venture Bookings when I got to New York. And I really wanted to work for him. But he said, no, it's too early. I'm just starting, go get a job at a big agency. So I did, and I got in the mailroom at a company called ATI, which was sort of the metal label. I remember the first day I walked in, there was Rat in the lobby.
I remember them all, man.
So I started in the mailroom there, and then lasted there for about 5 weeks. And I had met a friend of mine who was an assistant over at another agency called ICM. He said, hey, they're looking for a new assistant for this guy named Jeff Kramer. You should come interview for the job. So I went over on one of my mailroom runs one day and went over and met with the head of the department, and they hired me. Next Monday I was working for an agent at ICM.
And nobody's talking to you at ATI anymore.
Well,
sure.
the weirdest thing that happened was about 6 months later, ICM bought ATI. So all the, Bill Elson, Marsha Vlasic, the whole crew, Phil Ernst, Andy Waters, the whole crew come to ICM. And then about another 6 months went by, and it was very clear that none of the male assistants were going to be promoted. So I called Frank up and said, hey, man, I need to get out of here, like today. So I'll start with you on Monday. I don't care what you can pay me. So I started with Frank that Monday as an agent.
So this all happens in the period of like 4 or 5 months here. You're moving around. I like it, because I never really would have reckoned you as much of an agent, to be honest with you. I had a shot to be in the mailroom at William Morris, and they did a degree check and they wouldn't let me in.
Oh, wow.
And we actually had one of our guests the other 3 weeks back was a young gal who started in the mailroom at William Morris, and I had told her, I said, it's funny, I've had a bunch of guests like yourself who collectively probably had 300 or 400 years of experience, and she was on day 21.
Wow.
So I'll have to check back with her,
Yeah, but the mailroom was great. I got I've learned the subways really quickly, the buses, so now New York's easy for me.
Yeah, it's funny, I've had a bunch of folks, a lot of our friends on here, Bill Silva and lots of people, and it's funny how you know somebody for years, and then you find out, I never knew you were an agent, never knew you were a college booker, but for the folks that are out there that have any interest in being in the concert business, I'll say, take a page out of Pat's book. Same thing I got lucky enough to do in college, which was start as a booker at the school where you had a budget and no responsibility. If you could, the idea was to lose money, wasn't it?
You didn't have to sell tickets.
Yeah,
which was great.
And
we did, thank God. But
it obviously escalates your standing on the campus as well a bit, being the concert booker.
Yeah. So it started with Frank, and we had an amazing. We had sort of the alternative roster before alternative music made any money. And then our bands started to happen. You know, the Replacements, 10,000 Maniacs, Violent Femmes, Living Colour. And then I don't know, about 4 years, you know, 3 or 4 years later, we're doing really well. And I walk in the office one day, and Frank's said, "Hey, you want to move to LA?"
But it wasn't firing you.
No.
No, okay.
No. And he was going to merge with a company called Triad, and you know, asked me if I wanted to go, and I said, "Sure, why not? I've never been to LA. Let's go."
So you move out to LA. Was that
Yeah.
Geiger probably engineered that?
Yes,
I'm
Geiger
sure, yeah.
did engineer that.
Yeah.
And so 4 weeks later, I'm in Century City on the 16th floor, you know, booking clubs and colleges at Triad.